guys, welcome back to the SF show. So we're back with another episode. So this one we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We're just going to have a group panel discussion with a couple of questions that we have in mind, and then we're just going to see how it goes. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so the first question today, guys, is the word popularity has been thrown around a lot to understand what SF is. So for you guys, the question is, which word would we use to describe our flavors of SF in the most fitting way possible?
Okay. It's kind of a deep question, isn't it? So what we're going to start with, let's start with sleep.
No, I was just going to say, let's start with Sam.
Okay, I got it first. Well, you're on now.
Start with sleep.
Yeah.
How will we describe? Well, maybe you can start us off, Hannah, because, you have the best insight.
Well, someone said before, no, Maria, you said that someone said on Facebook that it's nostalgia, and I disagree with that. Nice. Because it's not about remembering for remembering's sake. It's about remembering for the sake of knowing where to go next. So it's not nostalgia, because the purpose of nostalgia isn't to go forward. Like, I'm not saying we're good at that, so I don't think nostalgia is the right word, but I don't have a really good one.
That's interesting. So basically talking about how your SI and NE work together, basically.
Not necessarily. I think that like the purpose of SI just isn't remembering. It's having all of the steps of something so detailed that you don't have to understand anything, because you're just because there's just no gaps in the sensory. You don't have to understand, you just have to do what,
Is it, Hannah, is it like an anchor? Because like, how should I say this?
Yeah, it is.
When I think of like SE to NI and all that whatnot, I'm like, okay, here's an example, here's an example, here's an example, here's an example. That's where they converge in the abstract land. But your NE heads are like intuition on crack, where it's like you can almost see, and I'm going to use this, multiple universes of what could be. And then the only way to keep yourself anchored is to have, like you say, the right sensory example of what to do to get the particular reality that you want. Hence why you can kind of transfer that into someone being like, if I get this sensory on point, like you're saying, I don't need to worry about everything else, because it's like A to Z guide, the idiot's guide of how to physically act.
It's like Life for Dummies. I don't know if you know that book series.
Yeah. I wonder if the Dummies collection book was written by an SI. All those like Signs for Dummies, and
probably someone with T.
Like,
I love my tribe, hence why I call them dummies.
Then if you connect that then with, if that's kind of what the SI side is to you, then you connect that with your FI. It's like what's really, really super important for you.
I think that actually Reggie said it, like, I didn't think about it that way, the way that Reggie talked about it. Even though Reggie was going off of something that I said, but I think it is about refining the beauty of something. That's not one word, that's two, refining beauty.
So what you think is beautiful?
Well, that's my personal opinion. That doesn't really, like, it's not relevant to... I think that SF is a lot about timeless beauty. It's about timeless steps. So something that stands the test of time. That's what we are going after, because we want certainty.
Yeah, the introverted SF, because that sounds like the OI is definitely coming out, because naturally I'm being the opposite end if it's true. I'm like, it changes all the time. Like, so yes, for you, yeah, it's that way.
Somebody once used a great like analogy, and I wonder if you kind of relate to this, Hannah. Somebody said that like SI in particular, I don't know about the FI part of it, but like somebody said it was like, you know, when you play a game and then like a story game, like an RPG game, and then you've got different levels and you've got like loaded levels or saved levels. And then if you go past a level, if you've already kind of completed the one before that, if you die in that next level, you can always come back to the last loaded save. Is that okay?
That is what it is. I think I remember, like, sorry, this is like going off of a tangent of a personal consumer story.
It's okay.
How dare you? How dare you, Hannah?
Guys,
You peacocking like that on video.
Doing my demons on video. You can, people can just skip forward and whatever. Well, when I was 16, I discovered music as a love of mine, and I saw a series of interviews with a bunch of famous rock musicians on TV. Like they had one each week, and I saw Marilyn Manson the first week, then I saw Jack White, and I was changed, and I was like, whatever happens, I can always go back to that point of my DI and go from there. Like, this is like putting down a solid block of this is who I am, and I can go forward. But if I fall down, that's exactly what you were talking about.
So you're basically just collecting saved, loaded games from previous. So if you kind of lose your way, you can always go back to the last known part. Yeah.
So what happens if you fall down and then you have to go back to that Marilyn Manson moment? Like, what are you doing?
Well, that never happened, but it is frustrating because it feels like a personal failure.
No, but I mean, let's say you had a bit of an identity crisis, and you're saying that that Marilyn Manson point is like a save point.
Yeah. Why
would you even save that? What are you? How is that practical in the real world?
It's not practical. It's about finding a compass for your direction. So imagine that everything to you is incredibly confusing and you're just 24/7 confused about what the hell is going on. You're just like, you're an alien. You just landed on the planet. You're like, what the fuck is this? Who am I? What is life? And then you're like, but one thing I know for sure, I was fucking impressed by Marilyn Manson. So, that's like one solid block of this.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
It's not like super deep even, I don't think. I think we just have really strong positive associations that get built over time. And these associations over time, like say every time I listen to Marilyn Manson, I have a positive experience, which is, by the way, not a personal example. This is getting weird, murky. Then you're just gonna over time build a stronger and stronger FI on association, and that's how an FI is formed. It's just an algorithmic way of understanding what is favorable to your survival. So I think.
Anyone have any ideas on a word then? Any thoughts? Because you don't seem to like what was it, nostalgia?
Nostalgia, no.
I'm gonna call it alien. Right.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, if anyone in the community has any suggestions for a word, throw it out there. Like, type it in the comments section. We'd love to hear it.
Put it in the comments. Inconclusive.
Okay.
Oh God.
Let's move on to Maria, since you are like close to me here.
I was actually gonna go for Sam, since he was the one who put you on blast first.
Yeah, but that was too obvious.
Okay. Well, the one that we saw from the group, it said about taste, which I think is a part of it, to be honest, in terms of SF consume. It is a part of it. I think, Hannah, you asked a question a couple of episodes ago about I think it was my episode, and you were like, you would love to know what kind of things are in my consume pile. And I have thought about that question since then. And it's just, it's like, for example, on Instagram, I have like folders of like posts that I save for different things. Like, so for example, I've got one like for food recipes, and I've got one for like cleaning hacks, and one for like relationship quotes, stuff like that. So I pile up all of these like quotes and things that I probably just never turn back to, never actually do anything with. But if you were to kind of compare that with somebody else's consume pile, it would be different because it would be based on my FI. So I think the taste part is a part of it, but then there's also kind of the aspect of it, I think, that's missing in that word in terms of explaining or understanding the process of collecting these things. It's hard to put it in one word, but I think taste is just one part of it. There is also just the process of collecting these things that are specific to my taste, because somebody else's consume pile is going to be different.
So it's a developing taste. So maybe we can use two words. Because
well, taste is the NI of it, isn't it? Hence why they're calling it taste. Like that's what all you SF consumes in theory are doing, that you are collecting stuff in the real world based on what you prioritize to be important. So
I would say the taste is the FI part.
Yeah. Well, anything you collect is always based on your, I guess in this case, the introverted function. Because like when I think of an opposite to that, like with ST, just a side tangent to go back as a comparison, I'm like, most things that I'm storing even on Instagram, I have a funny section, which is just good vibes. And then everything else is just tools for like knowledge and my fitness world and production, investment. And it's not necessarily because stereotyping I like them, but I think they're important to what needs to get done. But then you could interject that there is a bit of I'm interested in them at the same time. So
that sounds like it's kind of like the TI. It's stuff that you need to get done, right?
But if you use that, that would not what you're saying, but that would sound ridiculous because you still have stuff that you need to get done. But then when you're collecting stuff, what is it? You just go, I like this, I like this, I like this. Or do you feel like for what I want to do, I know this is important? Because that's how I've understood it when I've seen Dave talking about what he values to be in the right way when he links with his NI.
It is literally just that simple as in like, oh, I like this. Like, for example, food recipes. I have this obsession with just watching people prepare food. And so I have a massive collection of like people just making food. And it's literally just, I'll be scrolling and then I'll just see, oh, this looks good. Let me just watch that. Oh, let me add it into my pile. I think it's important comes later. It's probably something that is kind of like a secondary thought. But the thing that actually kind of makes that video or that post make it into my collection is literally just that instant moment of, oh, I like this. This looks good.
This reminds me of, sorry, Sam.
Yeah, go on. Ladies first.
I was trying to like do some research to actually sleep on the topic, and I watched a video that I had never seen before by Devin Chan, and it was talking about what the hell are the different flavors of consume about. And they were it's a really old video, so I'm not sure if they still agree with it, but I think it makes sense. And basically they were saying that if you have FI consume
ice cream in it, just a kid licking ice cream.
No, it's way older. It's so much so down the SI. No. They were talking about the different kinds of consume, and they were saying if you have FI consume, basically they were asking, is it that if you have FI consume, that means you have a logic problem when you're consuming? And they were basically saying yes. Same time, if you have FE blast, you have a logic problem when you're blasting. So it's kind of, you don't get all of them, all of the logic, you don't get it. So yeah.
Yeah.
we have a logic problem with the consume. It's just a
What do you mean?
problem like, in the broadest sense.
What do you mean a logic problem with the consume?
Well, it's not for the sake of making something work. Usually,
Okay.
it's for the sake of it feels relevant to our identity somehow.
Mhm.
I don't think problem is the right word you want to say then, but I know what you mean. It's more so like you prioritize your individual chemical state.
Yeah. Essentially. I think that out of all of the four of us, taste is the most fitting for Maria as a descriptor for your SF. I think that we can probably say.
Yeah, I think it's definitely on the right lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sam is not convinced.
Okay, Sam.
Maybe there is
Here's
no
an
perfect
interesting one. Popularity. What are you saying? Popularity. How does that land for you?
One aspect to it, I think it's right, and then one aspect it's not. Because when I use the definitions just to have a standpoint, it's talking about things that are liked and admired, which is one side of it, because I can also pay attention to what is not valued, because how do I say it? Let me not go around the place. Let me just use this one point. There are things that I know that are not valued, but I know are important. Not everything that is valued is important, because for lack of understanding and such. But to say SF is popularity, I guess it's the easiest word to hit it, because it's essentially you're looking at the sea of what people and things are getting used most by the majority, and then from that comparison you can calculate everything else and where it's going. So I think it is kind of accurate in a sense, but that's also because I'm thinking about people's understanding, and that there's popularity of like, oh, this is the most famous, but then there's other aspects that it kind of bridges into, but it just gets put under the umbrella of what popularity is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we are not gonna find the perfect words here, but
It's interesting because I actually kind of, out of the four of us, I would see you as the one who is probably the best representation of popularity.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
So
clear.
I don't know whether like it means that you are popular, but I think you are the embodiment of popularity. I think you are the mascot.
You're tracking the concept of popularity, right? Because you were just talking about you're also like tracking things that are not popular but still valuable. Like that's all the same theme.
Yeah. If you know the light, you know the dark. But I'm just curious, but what does she mean by you're the embodiment of popularity, just to understand where she's coming from?
God.
You're just cool, Sam. That's not. I'm kidding.
I feel like because what Hannah's trying to say is that because you are tracking all of that, I think you are the best. You are sort of the ideal person to speak on what is popular because you are tracking it. So not necessarily saying that you are the popular one, but you are the most qualified to be able to speak on what is popular.
Yeah.
Because you're tracking. Like it was what I was saying earlier about volumes. You're seeing the volumes, you're seeing where things are clustering, seeing where most people are leaning towards. So you are the best qualified to be able to speak on.
Yeah. Okay. I in terms of what I pay attention to, there is less weirdness in what I perceive to be popular, because it doesn't mean I'm accurate, but it's just because I'm responsible to those. I've put a lot of hours into there. I guess the example is when I am working with clients in the flesh, and I'm doing the sales side because also I have to show value and also make them know that I can get them to the job. The SF spectrum comes in a sense where it starts off very, I guess, very shallow, and you're going to look nice, you're going to look good, you're going to feel like your partner's cheating on you with you, all those kind of stuff, which, yeah, gets you a little laugh, so it puts you at ease. But then I start bringing a little bit of the importance from the NT side of it, but it's not really about that. It's when I watch myself talk about these things, it's very interesting to see how it's like, well, how do you know that is what people want? How do you know this is what people want? Because in my usual day life, when I am trying to withdraw how much SF play I do, I can see instinctually inside, I'll see someone walk in with a pair of trainers that I've never seen before. And I want to go, oh, mate, those are some good trainers. So I'm always looking at everyone's fashion sense from one side. And then that transfers into other areas of like foods that people enjoy, relationships, dating, attractiveness, which also happens to happen with a lot of my female clients, where it goes into the dating world. And then they start talking about what it is that they think they should be doing to be seen as attractive for their own value and to the opposite sex or the same sex. And then I'm like, no, woman, you're doing the wrong thing. This is what you need to focus on. Have a bit of a back and forth. And then they're like, damn, that's some real shit. And then it goes from there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
it is. SF is pretty cool.
Don't we know it? Okay, last but not least, Emmanuelle. So people were throwing around the word culture, which I think from what we said before, everyone was kind of giving a little side eye to that one. So what are you saying about culture, Emmanuelle?
It might, if you put it plural, cultures. Like what I think is with the SF, there's some kind of universality, like the sensory can be seen and shown to everyone. The intuition may be harder to access sometimes, and same goes with the feelings, and the thinking can be hard to access sometimes too. But the feeling language can be hard to access to some people, but not too hard to get. I feel regarding self, like, are you popular? I was like, nah. Or like, I need to have Samuel give me some lessons about having some style, some stuff. I'm like, I don't really feel popular, but when I look at my life, what I see, it's very easy for me to interact with people. Like I will not, let me say, I don't know. I will not be rude or, you know, I'm not a menace. How do you say menace?
Threat.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's how
You're
you
not
say it.
threatening.
Yeah, I'm not frightening anyone, and I feel very adaptable to anyone. Like I can understand where you are and how you react to me, and make the other person at ease. So it's very easy for me to interact with people as I see it. Maybe I'm all wrong and I don't have the spectrum, and half of the people that cross my path just hate me, but I don't think so. I think it's easy to interact with people. Like, yeah, you're just a human, and I have the basic human understanding of feelings. So I have the universal language somehow. And then with the OI, if I interact with someone, I will be in my tunnel vision. So I will be focusing on what the other is giving me. So I think it makes me, like, when I say citizen of the world and you say cultures and stuff, I'm like, yeah, wherever you put me on this earth, if there is a human I need to interact with, that would be easy. I'm not scared of that. I will not scare them. I will put them at ease in something. So it's like adaptability. SF is universal language. The concrete and the emotions will have those at a reaching point somehow. So cultures, I think it doesn't really go with me because I'm thinking about general culture and I'm consume last. I pretty much know nothing. So, but I can understand the individual that I have in front of me in the human language. Maybe not reach to him in the technical understanding, thinking and our concept language, but in I see you, really, I see you and I get you where you are in regarding your vibe. So this is something as universal. And just it I think it works for all the SF popularity somehow. And I see when it's the DI, you are inspiring and putting the light in some areas that you will make shine, you will make brighter. And you, by doing that, you are giving those specific some universality to you are giving to the tribe the understanding of and the beauty of the ugly plants. Just saying.
Well, a question I'm going to ask you then, Emmanuelle, is how do I make friends then?
How
do you make friends, Emma?
Just in general, yeah.
Just, yeah. How do you define a friend?
Someone who bows down to me. No, I'm joking. That's not.
What, like, it's really, what is a friend? Because having a friendly connection and having a friendly relation, like I'm going full SI, there's so many different, it's, you have friends that will die for you and you have friendly relation and just saying, for me, it's hard to make friends somehow because I don't engage myself.
Yeah.
Like I am seeing the other one where they are and I can adapt and adjust myself. But I really don't give much about self for the other person to reach to me somehow. There's something like that. But I'm trying to change that. So maybe you have seen me in some interviews or stuff. I'm giving some part of my lives. It makes me really uncomfortable. But I'm trying to do it because, like, you need to grow, right? And you can't complain about being lonely in the crowd of your life because I'm always with people, but I could feel lonely. But when you understand why, you're not giving yourself, to the people, you have to make a choice. Do you want to complain or do you want to act about it? So I'm weird and I'm giving you some specific of my life sometimes. Yeah. And I'm in this show.
Well, I did like from what you said was I perceived it was how relatively easy it was for you when I said, how do you make a friend? You're like, I've got the FE spectrum, but then I could systematically tell you if I wanted to, the different types of friends that are there. And it's not to say that everyone else can't do that, but I think it seems easier for you to know, well, there's different types of friends and there's friends that you die for, there's friends that you are just pleasant with. And I think that's also part of your blast, which I can kind of see where they're getting the culture aspect from. Because cultures are just a combinations of norms and values that are represented by the people.
Yeah, with the SF blast, your play is NF.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think the culture side of it might be a byproduct of what the process that you're doing as like SF blast, because if you are kind of connecting with one person at a time, or however you do it, however you connect with that person, eventually throughout your lifespan you're going to be connecting with lots of different people, and as a byproduct eventually you are just going to have that information about what these people are like, and then you'll be able to kind of like see the patterns of like, okay, these are the type of people who kind of do this kind of stuff and who like this kind of stuff. These are the kind of people who like this kind of stuff. Do you get what I mean? Like, so throughout your lifespan you might have a better representation of the different types of people that are out there because of the process that you've gone through to be able to kind of interact and engage with people for such a long time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm doing that. I think I'm full OI on this shit, and like everyone is unique somehow. I maybe I'm lying to you and to myself, but really, it's hard for me to say, oh, he's like that. So, he's on this label, or, like I'm still, no. Like he has some difficulties or some approaches that make me think of this kind of struggles that I've seen before, but the way he will live through it and interact, I really, really much value the specific of the identity.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
So I will really resist the generalization.
Okay.
Like, I hate that. I will fight for that. Really.
Demon intuition. Nothing. Everything is different. I've never seen this before.
Okay.
Maybe it's the transposition of I don't want to be put in a panel. I don't want to have a label on me. I feel very unique. I'm the 514 or whatever. I'm the special snowflake, and everyone is a special snowflake. So what the hell?
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
I want to share this. You've probably seen it somewhere, but I can't remember where I watched it from. But this kind of just blew my mind. So apparently, if you have a glass box with an apple in it and you close it off to the rest of the world, the apple will rot and then it will turn into nothingness. And they theorize over a certain amount of time, the apple is going to re-emerge as an apple again. So I'm like, okay, that's crazy. That's just straight up crazy. But then if you think about that, that's saying that everything in the universe has happened in some way, shape, or form, meaning that we've probably done this show before where I was a girl and then you lot were guys or something like that, that just tripped me out.
I don't get the apple example. Like,
okay, I have to break it down.
I also don't get what the point of this story.
I also don't get how the one logically follows after the other. I'm like, yeah, it's similar, but that doesn't
mean random stuff that I've consumed, Maria, and it just is, and it's showing you potentially how the universe works, because they theorize if this apple rots down in the glass and then disappears, and then the atoms remolecularize and become an apple again, that apple is just a representation of the universe. So like when you have a computer program, if you can extract one code, you can link it to the rest of the code. So it's all connected. So in theory, that's saying that this whole universe is going through some type of cycle. Does that make sense now?
Yeah. No, I disagree with that.
I think it was just a matter of everything is energy, and so the apple will disappear, but the energy of it you know, the molecules,
No,
they
this
don't disappear. They just shift form, like when they rot and everything, it shifts form.
no, but it's saying it will come back
And
to apple again.
then they get, they get free from a form. And by moving all around this, all the entities are going to boo us. Boo,
Are they
boo,
saying
I don't
it
care.
comes back as the same apple
but
again?
It doesn't.
They shift the molecules. They just friction all around and shift forms. And by doing a trillions of composition, they might even at one point get back into the shape of an apple again. You know.
Yeah.
It might. Could also turn into something else, right? But I think
it does. It was said that it does. Listen, all I'm saying is it's crazy stuff. Okay.
No,
No,
the apple doesn't really matter. It's just
don't
the
believe
process
everything you see
that
on
matters.
internet, Samuel.
It was just fun to share. It was fun to share. It was interesting. Thanks for stepping on my thing I had to give with my little NT. I hope
no,
you're
Sam.
effie
It's
shame
not-
for all of you. Effie shame.
We just didn't get it, and that's the reason why we were arguing with you, not because it wasn't.
I'm playing. It's all good.
But I want to like.
There's something that I accept with that is really the Lavoisier's formula. Like nothing gets created, rien se perd, rien se crée. No, nothing gets lost, nothing gets created, everything changes. You know, there is a permanency that we can't really see, but it is there, obviously. And yeah, I agree with all those shifting and changing and everything that we don't know yet. And I think it's very fascinating. I love that. And sometimes you cross someone and you feel like we've known each other for 100 lives already. And I just love this feeling. Just saying.
That's because of their time. It all has a good reason. It's not that mysterious. I'm like, there is no NF. It's just NT.
Okay, cool. Well, does anyone have any like final thoughts to like what we've talked about?
Have you seen there's in the nutshell Gesentag, there's a channel. I'm going to pick up some consume that a consume last gave me to see. And there's one called The Egg, and just have a look, Samuel. It is I will send you the link, and maybe Maria will do something magical so everyone can access it. But I just love this show. Yeah.
I'm just like, what? I'm not a wizard.
No, you're a witch. All right.
You got misgendered by yourself. No. It's just thermodynamics, guys. It's not that deep.
It is deep. You just don't see value in it.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm just very interesting. Well, maybe Maria can like directly beam the link into our brains. That would be nice. Or just post it in the description of the video.
Yeah, I'll just drop a link.
By airdrop.
That's about as magic as it's gonna get. I'll just drop the link.
That's enough for me.
Okay. Anyone got any final thoughts, questions, comments about anything that we've? I mean, did we actually even come up with labels, our own labels? We just kind of.
No, we didn't.
We didn't have one for Emmanuelle, actually. That sucks. We didn't even make a bad guess.
Stylish douchebag.
About what?
Stylish. I feel like one word is too like reductionist. I feel like it's really hard to boil down both of the entire animal in one word. I feel like you need to have at least two to kind of get the essence of both parts of the animal.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But then
maybe,
also, to fully get it down to a word, you'd have to be, how should I say this? You'd have to be very accurate with your typing as well, so that you are objectively seeing it the same as everyone else, which I think is one of the reasons why it's so hard to even get a name for it in the first place. Because if you look at your own typing record, unless it's pretty shit hot where it's like close to Dave and Shannon's and aligns with them, you're not really going to get there yet. And I think that's the major problem.
Yeah. So to summarize,
we reject labels as the
get better at typing, and then when you see it, link up with the people who are good at typing, and then you can come to a consensus.
Sweet. Cool. Well, it's been lovely catching up with you guys again. Thank you everybody who's tuning in. If anyone does have any labels that they would like to attach to us based on today's episodes, drop them in the comment, let us know. And then if you like the show, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it and subscribe. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye. And take a guess what the next season is about, because you got a hint.
And if you get it right, you get a 1-to-1 with Hannah.
Oh.
Okay. Whatever.
Popular prize.
Are you controlling Maria, Samuel?
I'm controlling the tribe.
Feels good, right?
Yeah. It's sexy.
I hate everything.
So you had to submit.
I had to be accepted by the group.